Shooting the shots. She's been one of the ones that have been in the gym shooting. You know, I came in here to get a little workout in, and she came in and she wanted to go into the cardio, you know, in the super circuit to get some cardio in, and then she came and shot a whole bunch of balls. With her, it's just confidence early. I want her to know that she doesn't have to do something fancy or something special to stay on the court. You know, just do the solid stuff. You know, take your open shots when you have them, but you don't have to make a fancy pass for me to keep you in. Just play hard and go hard, and then when you're tired, you come out. You get to tell me when you go back in. You know, you're ready and you go back in. But with her, it's just confidence, and you know that was a little curve for her. You know, going from having a coach to not having a coach to me. And so I think she's stepping up and having a great time now.
All right, lastly, the team you're playing tonight beat you by 60 points the last time you guys played. Now, you and I talked about this in the post game of the Barton game, where it's two completely different teams from then to now. But Seward is still, you know, they only have one loss in conference, and that came to Hutch. In fact, it ended a long 63-game home court winning streak. So they're not used to losing. They've been to the national tournament. They were there last year. With all of that said, the game film from the last meeting, was that even dissected? Was it just totally, I wouldn't say forgotten, but was it a point of emphasis, or you just kind of move on and focus on what you've done?
I never once looked at that film after that game. I never once looked at it because I knew we'd be a different team the next time we saw them. So mostly I just scouted and looked at their last game, you know, their last couple of games. They are a good team. They're nationally ranked. I just want us to have that same confidence like we did against Butler. You know, come in with that same confidence with a little chip on your shoulder. Have something to prove, and so hopefully, you know, we'll have a better outcome. Good luck. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mike Scoop Harding, the interim coach for the Bronxbusters, as we dive right in to tonight's starting lineups. At first, for the Saints from Seward County, 18-4, 11-1 in conference play. They are ranked 12 under second-year head coach Austin Mefford. They start Akila Mukubakuri, 5'7" sophomore from Mozambique. You can win a spelling bee after doing a Seward County broadcast. 7.6 points, 3.2 rebounds. Joining her is Tiana Johnson, 5'9" freshman from Peoria, Illinois, 11 points and 3 rebounds. Leilani Ogman, 5'10" freshman from San Jose. She was really good in the first meeting, 11.5 points, 6 rebounds. Vanda Kuwamba, 5'11" sophomore from Mozambique. And then rounding it out, Carolina Sitzlauska, a 6' sophomore from Poland, 12.3 points and 7.6 rebounds. The head coach, as I mentioned, is Austin Mefford in his second season. In his first 56 games, his team is 48-8. For the Bronxbusters, they start Deja Ross, 5'7" sophomore from Fort Worth, Texas, 8 points, 3.8 rebounds. And then Jalea Bellany, 5'4" sophomore from Gifford, Florida, 14 points, 2.4 rebounds. She's shooting the 3-ball at 35%. Alyssa Boyes, 5'6" sophomore from Oklahoma City, 13 points and nearly 4 rebounds on 40% shooting. Karina Suarez Tudela, 5'9" freshman from Spain, 6 points, is coming off a 16-point game against Martin. And then Dejane Pajo, 5'10" sophomore from Grand Prairie, Texas, 6 points and 6 rebounds. The head coach is the interim coach, Mike Scoop Harding, coaching in his 11th game here tonight. There's the starting lineup for tonight. Let's get into the keys. What's your big key for tonight?
I think you obviously have to forget about the last matchup. And as I said in the pregame, I don't think that'll be a problem. I think that the problems that they had down in Liberal are pretty well documented, and I think that no matter how you slice it, it has to do with effort. So you can throw that game out as an outlier. When you look at the numbers, you're going to say Seward rebounds the ball well. They're obviously bigger. I think, like I said, against Hutch, you know, Garden City's going to have to find a way to manufacture points because they're at a disadvantage in terms of efficiency. You know, Seward averages about a point every 100 possessions. Garden City's about 0.84. So the numbers say that Garden City's already at a 16-point disadvantage. Got to hit the 3, got to make free throws, got to get to the line. Now, Seward does not shoot the 3 well, so you'd expect to see Garden City pack it in, maybe play some zone tonight.
And they don't shoot a lot of threes either.
They don't need to because they're enormous.
So Seward controls the opening tip, and a missed driving layup by Muku Bakure for Seward. Dejane Pajau has the rebound for Garden City. Brockbusters' first possession, moving from left to right. Just 15 seconds in. So the last time these two teams met, back on January 13th, Seward won 104-39. Pajau low left. Layup is in and out from the left block. And the rebound corralled by Tiana Johnson for Seward.
Seward came out in a soft man-to-man, which is pretty typical of them.
Their
Garden
defense
City the same.
surrendering only 60 points per game as Ogman misfiring an elbow right jumper. And the rebound off to Pajau for Garden City. So the Brockbusters, the last time these two teams met, is they've got the ball left to right. Garden City scored first and then didn't score again. They missed 17 straight shots, and Seward built a huge lead after one. Flores Tudelo, runner from the foul line, is wide to the right, and the rebound off to Sitzlauska for Seward County. Back come the Saints from right to left. Johnson to the bucket and lays it in low left, and Seward has the first two.
That's got to be a real concern if you're Garden City. The last time I saw them play, Hutch really ran the floor well. Transition defense was certainly a big factor. As Garden City sort of hung with Hutch until the end, the transition defense, or lack thereof, really was the defining factor in the fourth quarter.
Bellany is armbarred, left slot for Garden City. And fouls on Muku Bakure, the 5'7" sophomore from Mozambique. So if you're wondering, the only loss in conference for Seward, they're 11-1, was to Hutch. And in fact, they had a 33-game conference winning streak snapped the other night. First loss since November 28th of 2018 when they lost to Butler. And they also had a 63-game home court winning streak snapped as well. Garden ball after the foul. Boys driving wing to baseline right. Rejected from behind by Augman. Out of bounds to Garden.
And as I said in the pregame, that'll be an interesting factor to look at maturity. Seward hasn't lost in a while. They hadn't lost at home. And will be there any hangover from that? Only time will tell.
And not many teams, Nick, win by 60 points and turn the ball over 30 times, yet Seward did that in the first meeting.
Well, and that's a factor today, too. You wonder if there's any carryover. We said Garden City can't allow that to really be a factor, but will Seward,
And the Brockbusters quickly a half-court, a 30-second shot clock violation, their first turnover. Garden City had 40 turnovers the last time these two teams met. So now Seward County ball from right to left, 2-0 Saints. Garden City's 0 for their first three.
Garden City appears to have switched to zone, as would have been expected by Seward's, I don't want to say lack, but is their unwillingness to shoot the three.
Ogman dishing to Sitzlauska, knocks down a three from the right corner. That's her 37 triple. We just said they don't shoot threes. They don't need to. They did there, and they're up 5-0.
And that's why coaches retire and have gray hair, because you
We're
can
on the
study
golf course.
numbers. You can study numbers all you want, and you can tell your team, all right, don't worry, they don't shoot the three very well, and then boom, right off the bat, they hit a corner three.
And they average 21 three-point attempts per game. But again, they only shoot it at 31%. Foul was on Sitzlauska for Seward. Garden down 5-0 with the ball 2 minutes into quarter number one. Bellany one-hands at right wing. Good closeout that time by Muku Bakure. Bellany goes left, timers at 10. Hands it for Ross, step back, left wing three, and answers back for Garden City. She's been shooting the ball much better as of late the last couple of games. Garden City within two now, 5-3. Muku Bakure for Seward, throws it to the top, intercepted by Suarez Tudela for Garden, to the rim and puts it in. And the game tied at 5. Defense leading to offense. That's something Garden City, again, played well defensively for a good portion of that first half. I know that sounds ridiculous when you lose by 60. There's a turnover again by Seward. Bellany the steal. Two Saints turnovers. Brockbusters have it. They've scored the last 5. It's the same Garden City team, and you were here that night when they beat Butler. High post right side, it's Pajau. Goes back door looking for Suarez Tudela and throws it away.
Kind of a sloppy start for Seward tonight. And as I said, you can preach and preach and preach to your team about, hey, we won by 60, but that was 3 weeks ago. It's a different team. Hey, get up. You lost. It's all right. There's a lot of season, You can preach these things, but they're still 18-year-old young women and 18-year-old kids to a degree, and the reality is sometimes they come out flat. It appears Seward has done just that.
And Nick, sometimes 30-year-olds don't listen. You
Exactly.
can't expect teenagers to do it every night. Sitzlauska, beautiful feed from Muku Bakure. who bounces it right down the left lane line, and then Sitzlowska lays it in plus the foul. That ends a little 5-0 mini run by Garden City. That's the first foul on Pajal, and the second team foul. Check that first team foul on Garden. So Sitzlowska, the sophomore from Poland, 61% free throw shooter to the free throw line. Chance put Seward up 3 here. Saints as a team shoot at 71%. Free throws in and out. And the rebound taken by Suarez Tudela for Garden City. So 7-5 Seward. Back come the blockbusters from left to right. Wild shot. Bellany looking for a foul. Left end line was an air ball. Sails it right to Sitzlowska. Saints have the ball with Ogman. Back for Sitzlowska. Wide open. Left wing 3 hit the front rim. Offensive rebound. Camry Perez dishes for Christy Thomas underneath. Blows the layup low left. Another offensive board to Camry Perez. Misfires right elbow. And a loose ball to Pajal for Garden City. Ahead for Bellany. Leaning in from the right side. No. And Thomas the rebound for Seward. And Garden City is 2 for their first 7. Down the middle, Muku Bakure with a left-hand floater for Seward. They've scored the last 4 and they lead 9-5.
Seward comes out in a little half trap that they're calling 12.
Blockbusters struggled against that set in their first meeting. Pajal turns and fires from the left elbow. That's off the mark, and Ogman gobbles up the rebound for Seward. Blockbusters one and done, but a bad pass by Perez, stolen by Pajal, who's averaging nearly 3 steals per game. Third Seward turnover, and it leads to a Blockbuster deuce.
And without Deborah Ford, you really got to expect her to really step up tonight. She's one of the only busters on the roster that has, some length, has some size, and as we've already seen, Seward kind of hammering the ball inside, some high-low stuff, and rebounding has already been a factor for Garden City. She's going to have to play big and long.
Sitzlowska missing an inline left jumper for Seward. And then a foul called on Christina Thomas. First on Thomas. And that is the 3rd team foul on Seward. So if you're just tuning in, as Nick just alluded to it, Deb Ford is suspended indefinitely, so we don't even know if she'll be back. So with that, the Blockbusters came out in the first half the other night, and they were ridiculously good, and then really cooled off in the second half. Bellany wide open, Garden City. Left wing 3 is wide to the right. And the rebound on the near side to Ogman for Seward. Saints +4 on the glass early. Garden City 1 and done. Camry Perez from Sitzlowska. Right wing 3. Got it. And the Saints.
Now there's 2 threes.
Yeah. Go figure, right? Never works out the way you want it. Ross turns it over the other way for Garden City, and then Sitzlowska on the steal for the Saints gives it right back on a travel. So Garden City ball, and it's 12-7 Saints. They've scored the last 5.
I really feel like Garden City sometimes has a propensity to get into these up and down sort of, playing at a reckless pace. And I really feel like they are better when they slow down and they play possession basketball.
And it's something Seward wants them to do. 4.5 to go first quarter. Garden ball down 12-7. Boyce at the top against Ogman. Seward in a man-to-man defense. Pajal with a ball screen up top. Shot clock winding down at 10. Suarez Tudela curls on the right corner, and Perez picks her pocket for Seward. Back come the Saints. Perez down the middle, weaving through traffic, and a double dribble. So Seward's 5th turnover. After 13 years, Toby Wynn, who was the longtime coach, got the job at Emporia State. So
Austin Mefford doing a heck of a job.
And, are we surprised? And then Coach Mefford comes in here, and all he's done is won 48 of his first 56. Took him to the national tournament last year. Saints last year went 30-4.
Well, I don't want to take anything away from he's done, because I'm sure him and his assistant have done a wonderful job. But Seward has...
Ross missing a layup, offensive rebound and a kick out to Boyce, who nails a left corner 3 for Garden City. 12-10, Blockbusters trail by 2 until Ogman answers back for Seward, a left wing 3 on the other end. 15-10 Seward.
As I was saying, Seward really has a good system worked out, right? They have obviously a connection with Mozambique, and then they have a connection in the Texas Panhandle.
Thomas on the other end after a missed Bellany jumper, lays it in for Seward County, and it's 17-10 Saints, their largest lead of this first quarter. 7-point deficit for Garden. Ross a straight on 3, hits another. That's her 2nd from downtown. Seward 17, Garden City 15 with 3:10 left in the first.
And I actually think this is to Garden's advantage, right? Because, again, if you're just playing percentages, if it turns into 3-ball versus 3-ball, that's a game Garden City can be successful at.
Sitzlowska spinning for Seward, low right, left it short. Pajau rips down her 5th rebound for Garden City. And the Blockbusters back from left to right, down by 4, weathering a couple of early storms on the 12th ranked team in the country. At the nail, Pajau fakes left, goes right. Dishes for Suarez Tudela, right wing 3, no. And defensive rebound by Muku Makure for Seward, and a loose ball foul against Garden City's Jalea Bellany, her first.
Frustrated, hasn't really, only gotten 1 look so far. Obviously, she's a scorer. They need to find a way to get her open shots so she starts feeling good about herself. They're going to need her to make shots in order to be successful, and that foul is simply out of frustration.
Garden City's 2nd team foul. So Seward ball up 17-13. Saints have hit 7 of their first 14. Garden City is 5 of 15. It's a Saints team that offensively, they're pretty good. And again, they don't shoot the 3 a lot. And then defensively, they're 3rd in the conference in points per game allowed and 28th in the nation in field goal defense. Deanna Johnson back in for Seward. Rockbusters drop into a 2-3 zone. Left end line, Perez dumps it inside for Thomas. Misses the layup, grabs her own miss, and a jump ball, and the alternating arrow goes back to Garden City. Saints are a really good rebounding team. They average 16 offensive rebounds per game. That's the most in the conference. They have 3 already in the first 7.5 minutes.
Now, they are very long, right? And they've got a couple of players they're thrown in there that are under the basket that are very long and very athletic. And so when you have those things, I want to say it's easy to rebound, but it's easier.
Ross missing a driving layup, right lane line for Garden. Thomas the rebound for Seward, and a Blockbuster foul. And again, I mentioned this, and it bears repeating because Seward is so good defensively, but Garden City, and that's the 2nd foul on Pajau, and Garden City's 3rd team foul. In the first meeting, the Blockbusters in the first quarter missed 17 consecutive shots, and the blowout was on. Seward ball right to left, less than 2 to go first quarter. Saints in possession, jumper missed on the right elbow by Gina Ballesteros, but a foul. And that's on Denitri McGee, who just checked in. That's her first, Garden City's 4th team foul, and a couple of free throws now for Seward, and all they do is shoot it at 71%.
Silly foul there. You just can't foul a jump shooter.
You know, your teams, you had a couple of pretty good free throw shooting teams. I mean, and you had good offensive players.
Shayla Dobbins was a really good free throw shooter.
That was her game, just get to the free throw line.
Essentially she was fouled every time she touched it, and then she would make the free throws. So
I want to say there was a game when we went to the WNIT, and she must have shot 27 free throws.
And it was against Trinity Valley.
Yes.
I think they were number 2 or 3 in the country at that point.
Now, you lost by, I want to say 16 or 17. There was a point in the second half where you were within 7 or 8.
We had them on the ropes.
Yep.
Again, we were a very young team. That's the thing that people forget about that team is how young they were. All freshmen.
Ballesteros hits 1 of 2 at the line, and a timeout called by Garden City. 1:49 to go here in the opening quarter. Blockbusters again weathering a couple of early storms. It's Seward 18, Garden City 13 on 99.9 The Rock. $1:49 to go here in the opening quarter, alongside Nick Salazar and Mike Pilasov. Blockbusters, who have trailed by as many as 7, are down by 5. It's Garden City ball from left to right with Ross, Ariana Hall, McGee, Boyce, and Suarez Tudela. Hall goes behind her back against Sitzlowska. Beautiful crossover. Lost it, gets it back, kicks for Ross. Left corner 3, rattles it in. She's hit 3 first quarter triples, and the Blockbusters trail 18-16.
Ariana Hall, superb ball handling, got the ball into the paint. That's got to be Garden City's game. Use their athleticism to get into the lane and then hit 3s or get fouled.
There's a pick and roll that time. Kawamba made the catch and then went up strong towards the rim and is fouled low right. And with 1:14 to go in the first quarter, two more free throws for Seward. Garden City, incredibly the other night, shot single-digit free throws. That wasn't the incredible thing. We've seen that happen this year. They don't shoot a lot of free throw attempts per game. But it was so one-sided between the free throw attempts by Barton and by Garden City. And Mike Scoop Harding was not pleased about that as Kuwamba, who's a 69% free throw shooter, knocks down the first of two. Second free throw is good.
And I certainly can attest to the fact that when there is a huge free throw discrepancy, there is nothing more frustrating. Seems like I remember going to Neosho a few years ago. I think they shot about 48 free throws.
That's the mantra of the Jayhawk Conference. Hall missing a runner right mid-post for Garden City. Sitzlowska the rebound for Seward, and it's knocked away off of Seward. That's their sixth turnover already.
I'm not sure whether or not that was the game their coach tried to punch me or not.
How many times did that happen?
No, that was the only time. There was a few times that I might have been in threat of punching someone, but I am pretty sure there was a game where he was very upset with me.
And I don't understand how that even is possible. You're such a nice guy. Suarez Tudela right slot for Garden. Turnaround 15-footer. He's in and out. And Kuwamba the rebound for Seward County. 20-16, and then Hall the steal. Hall the steal for Garden in from the left wing, and a lefty layup is good off the glass, and Seward's lead is 2 with half a minute to go here in the first quarter.
What a spark she's given the Busters off the bench, right? Makes a great play that leads to a 3, gets her a first assist, now a steal and a layup.
Averaging a steal and a half per game. Johnson, elbow right jumper for Seward is off the front iron. Rebound Ariana Hall for Garden City. Shot clock off with 15 seconds. A chance to take the lead. Boyce misfires a left wing 3. And Johnson the rebound for Seward. Final 10 seconds. Saints have it. They've given it away 7 times in the first quarter. Sitzlowska whips it left corner. Ballesteros to Perez. Back for Ballesteros. Left corner 3 is an air ball. And Coach Mefford might have a stroke, yelling and screaming for his team to shoot it. And that's the end of quarter number 1. So Seward cools off in the last couple of minutes. Brockbusters were down by as many as 7. But they're within 2 as we go to quarter number 2 on 99.9 The Rock. Alongside Nick Salazar, Mike Pilasov here courtside at Conestoga Arena. The Brockbusters were down by as many as 7. They weathered the storm late in the quarter. They're down by 2, but Kuwamba, Seward starts the second with the ball from left to right. A little scoop shot under the armpit of Denitria McGee and lays it in, and the Seward lead is 22-18.
Some discouraging things if you're Seward from that first quarter. They turned it over 8 times. And then obviously Garden City using the 3 ball to keep them in, 4 for 7 from 3.
Brockbusters meantime turn it over, and it leads to another layup for Kuwamba for Seward left block, and it's 24-18 Saints. They score the first 4 of the second quarter.
And this is what we talked about in the pregame. You know, Garden City had a really good start to the game. Obviously they're playing with them, but they've just got to have the maturity to continue to keep fighting through, not look back, not get too excited about what they've done, but just to kind of stay the course.
Ariana Hall missing a layup for Garden. Seward grabs the rebound and a travel on the right end line. That's the 9th turnover now for the Saints with 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. So alongside Nick Salazar, Mike Pilasov Seward jumped out to a 5-0 lead, led by as many as 7 in the first quarter. Deja Ross keeping the Brockbusters afloat, hit 3 first-quarter threes, which ties a season high. The Brockbusters were down by 2 at the end of one, had a chance to take the lead. Boyce missed the 3 in the final seconds. They're now down by 6. They've got the ball left to right. Just over a minute gone by in quarter number 2. All near side wing against Kuwamba. Gets a screen from Pajau, who rolls to the rim. Errant pass, and it's knocked away and intercepted by Muku Bakure for Seward. Whips a left-handed, beautiful pass for Tiana Johnson, 50 feet in the air, and Johnson lays it in. And then the Brockbusters turn it over the other way, their 7th giveaway. Seward has scored 6 straight, Nick, and they have their largest lead of 8.
Well, Garden City has done in this first minute and a half what they did not do in the first half. They've taken quick shots, they've played too fast, they haven't gotten back in transition. And they haven't just, I think a big concern for Garden City, you know, as I said at the beginning of the game, Pajau is the only person they have with any length at all.
Ballesteros misfiring an angle right 3 for Seward. Tiana Johnson, the offensive rebound, clings it off the front iron, grabs back another miss, and a foul. She almost did the splits on the right block.
Pajau wasn't in, she's in the game right now, but she didn't start in the second quarter. And you'll notice they scored 4 points immediately just down low. She's probably the only one on the roster tonight that can affect shots and protect the rim at all.
That last foul is on Deja Ross, first on Ross, first team foul. 8-point lead for Seward, up 26-18. Seward shooting 45% here in the first half. Kuwamba low right, spinning on Pajau, redirects left wing Johnson, dumps it back for Kuwamba. Splits a double, left block to right and lays it in. She's got 8 points on 3 for 3 from the field. 28-18 Seward, they've scored 8 in a row. 7:58 to go here in the second quarter. Bellany rattles home a 3 for Garden on the other end to cut it to 28-21.
Good, maybe that'll get her going. Garden City really needed that shot to go down. Again, just didn't start the second quarter with as much juice as they had in the first. Pivotal possession there, and they came through.
Seward ball, can the Brockbusters get a stop here? 28-21 Saints, 7.5 to go second quarter. Johnson got the step around McGee, right down the middle going left. And Johnson's got 6, and it's 30-21 Seward. 7:22 remaining here in the first half. Bellany forcing one up left end line, that's an air ball. And a loose ball off to Seward County. Back come the Saints right to left, and an easy deuce, right block by Kuwamba. Saints winning the rebounding battle by 12, and now they're up by 11, 32-21.
Garden City has to be real careful here.
This is blowout territory already.
They need a quality possession. They need a good shot.
Here's Denitri McGee coming from the left wing of the right block for Garden City and draws the foul.
And when in doubt, draw a foul.
Kuwamba, meantime, 10 points, 4 for 4 from the field for Seward. They have their largest lead of 11. Foul called on Tiana Johnson. That's her first team foul against Seward. And now Denitri McGee to the foul line. She shoots 60%. Line drive first is good. Nothing but net. And you look at Seward and everything that they've done. 18 wins so far this year. They're by an average of 24 points, 9 by 20 or more. They have 7 wins by 30 or more. McGee, 1 of 2 at the line. And Destiny Alston has her second rebound for Seward. Left wing 3, Augment for the Saints is an air ball, and it comes right off to Ariana Hall. And back comes Garden City from left to right, 32-22. Garden City is within 10.
That being said, if Seward is going to make a run, either in the conference or nationally, you have to be concerned.
Pajau hits a 3 from the right corner for Garden.
About the fact that they turn it over quite a bit. You know, they average about 19 turnovers a game, and that's a tough thing to overcome if you're trying to win a championship.
Which is why you look at games earlier this year. They lost by 25 against Odessa. Alston missing a right-hand layup, and then Kuwamba on the offensive glass again for Seward lays it in. 34-25 Saints. 6 minutes to go here in the first half. They're up by 9 and a turnover by McGee in the lane. Kuwamba the steal ahead for Augment. Right-hand layup, low right, foul on the way up by Alyssa Boyce. That's 8 Brockbuster turnovers. And with a 9-point lead, Seward goes to the line. So you think about the 4 losses. 1 to Hutch, They lost to Midland in that WNIT, which you guys played in a few years ago. Salt Lake and Odessa. So 3 straight ranked teams. They lost 2 of those 3. They've lost to Hutch, and they lost to South Plains, who hasn't lost a game all year.
I was going to say, I mean, their strength of schedule is incredible. You would think that they would be really battle-tested, which will be a positive for them as they kind of go down the stretch. Because none of those are bad losses.
As I say, you lose to South Plains, nobody's beating them, so Augman to the foul line hits the first of 2, 76% free throw shooter. Saints up 35-25. Augman rattles in the second one. She's got 5 points and 2 rebounds in the early going. 5:50 remaining first half. Garden City down 36-25. Garden ball left to right. Boyce, Flores, Tudela, Ross, Ariana Hall, and Pajau. Hall keys it up on the right wing and knocks down a 3 and then stares at the Seward County bench. 36-28. Then a steal by Ariana Hall. 10th Seward turnover. Ahead for Boyce, who lays it in.
Boyce is the one who tipped the ball from behind, made a play. Again, Ariana Hall just doing some great stuff off the bench. This is the second time I've done a game. I've been really impressed with what she's able to do.
And Pajau nearly had a steal and said Sislowska saves it for Seward. Fires in the left corner for Kazimirowicz, who misfires on a 3, and then a loose ball foul against Seward. And the Blockbusters have it back, down by 11 at one point. They're back to within 6 halfway through the second quarter.
Another big possession. Again, when they're getting quality shots, what happens when you take a bad shot? It's like turning it over. It's almost impossible to get your defense back and set when you turn it over, and a bad shot is almost the equivalent of a turnover. And when Garden City doesn't do that, they do just fine.
Boyce has it right wing, right in front of the Seward bench. 10 to shoot for Garden, down 36-30. Less than 5 to go first half. Boyce's 3 straight on, blocked by Kawamba, but then deflected out on the right block off of Pajau, so it goes back over to Seward.
One of the things I'm noticing is that Seward is, at least the last couple of possessions, been switching ball screens. Certainly they're doing that because they don't worry about size. That being said, in that circumstance, you had Pajau down low against a guard, a big guard, but somebody who's not familiar with guarding down low. This could be a way that Garden City could take advantage to get to the foul line or to score some chip points under the basket.
Nice head fake by Augman for Seward. Right mid-post, got Suarez Tudela in the air, and then knocks it home. 38-30 Seward. 4:25 remaining here in the first half, and Augman has 7. She and Kawamba have 19 to the 38. Blockbuster ball from left to right. Flores Tudela right in line. Sealed off by Sislowska. Whips it, left elbow for Pajau. Left it short from 15. And Augman rips down a 2-handed chest-high rebound for the Saints. They are plus 15 on the glass. They've out-rebounded Garden 23-8 in the first half. Sislowska overhead pass for Augman for Seward. Going right. Skips it for Kawamba. Low right turnaround. Knocks it in from 5 feet. 14 points. She's 6 of 6 from the field. 40-30 Seward, 3:48 to go first half. And the Blockbusters having problems on the interior.
I was going to say, Garden City just doesn't have the size or the length to be able to maintain, to hold water for very long.
Boyce airballs a 3 for Garden City. Rebound off to Kazimirowicz, and then a loose ball foul called against Garden City. And that's on Hall, that's her second. Garden City's 4th team foul. 40-30 Seward. They've led by as many as 11. Blockbusters have never led in this game. In fact, they fell down early 5-0, came back to tie it. Here's Sislowska, straight on 3 with McGee right in her face and drills it from the top of the key.
Right in her face, but her hands were down.
43-30, Seward by 13. They've scored 7 straight and a Blockbuster turnover, their 9th. With 3:11 to go. Perez wide open, Seward 3 from the right wing, off the left side of the rim. And a foul called, a rebounding foul on Kawamba. That's her first, and it's Garden City ball down 13.
I think you can really see what happens, right? You know, a lot of people that follow this team, you know, it's one of these things where you can really try and pinpoint what happens to them, and you've kind of seen it here. You know, fatigue sets in. There's certain lineups that they have to go with because of their depth. And so when they have it really, really cooking, it stops, and we start to get bad shots. We stop moving, and then you'll notice we've turned it over 3 possessions in a row, and now we fouled again in the backcourt.
So the Bronx Pressers have 6 turnovers now, including that last one in this quarter alone. And then a foul. They're over the limit. That's the 3rd on Pajau. And Seward County free throws.
And right now that's very disconcerting because she's the only interior defender that you have.
So she has 3. Ariana Hall has 2. Kawamba's a 69% free throw shooter. Heading to the free throw line, and the first one's in and out. Seward is 5 of 8 at the line. One more free throw for Kawamba. Dips at the knees and swishes it in. Seward 44, Garden City 30. Saints have scored 8 straight. 2:42 to go here in the first half. Rockbusters scoreless the last 3 minutes. Bellany up top uses a screen from McGee. Jab step to the left wing. Straight away McGee on the dribble drive. And a sandwich between a double right lane line and a foul. The officials tonight, Amy Lowen, Dennis Dutton, who just made that call, and then Chris Rohr.
I was going to mention earlier, I've never seen Chris Rohr. It's pretty rare for me to come to one of these games and see a new official.
You know Dennis Dutton well.
Oh, I know Dennis Dutton very well.
He's one of the more, can we say, seasoned officials in this league?
He's seasoned.
McGee free throw is short for Garden
He's
City.
not the most seasoned.
No, Vern Kisner's been here a while. There's the one guy that I call Ichabod Crane, and I can't remember his name now. And that's probably why I call him Ichabod Crane. McGee, 1 of 2, ends an 8-0 run for Seward County. 44-31, Garden City down by 13, 2:25 remaining first half. 3-pointer, Kazimirowicz, right wing for Seward, airballs it. Sitzlowska, the offensive rebound. Seward with 7 second chance opportunities here in the first half. Seward keeps it. Shot clock at 10. Kuwamba right hand hook from the left block is in and out. First miss from the field. Boyce the rebound for Garden. They're down 13 with the ball. Boyce leaves it off for Suarez Tudela. And nothing but air on a left wing 3. And then Sitzlowska grabs the rebound and did like the moonwalk in the backcourt. No call. Ogman, meantime, on the other end for Seward. Splits 2 defenders and lays it in. She's got 9. Garden City down 15. McGee tries to answer quickly for Garden. Wing to baseline left, and she's fouled. Did you see that? She grabbed the rebound. Sitzlowska shuffled her feet and then threw the ball. And the official was standing right there. Not that it matters, I guess, when you're down by 13.
Well, it matters because, again, Garden City, every possession is important. And again, you can't necessarily get caught up looking at the score at this point. There's far too much basketball to be played. When you do that is when you run the risk of having what happened the last time these two teams played happens. And so every possession is important. You need the officials to be on their game, but you have to overcome those things.
McGee hits 2 free throws. Before she did, Seward was on a 10-1 run. 46-33 Saints. Been up by as many as 15. Their lead is 13 now. Seward ball right to left. Kuwamba low right. With Ballesteros, Perez, Sitzlowska, and Augman, the 5 on the floor for second-year head coach Austin Mefford. Sitzlowska for Augman, left wing Perez, kick it left side angle. 3 for Sitzlowska, and she buries it, her 3rd triple. Seward, we talked about it, not a great 3-point shooting team, and they've hit 5 here in the first half.
I mean,
16
a good
point
enough
Saint
shooting,
lead.
3-point shooting team.
McGee airballs a right end line jumper. Sitzlowska, her 6th rebound for Seward. Back come the Saints up by 16, and a Bronx Buster foul.
A lot of fouls in the backcourt.
13-3 run. Foul on Deja Ross, her 2nd. And those fouls, not only are they careless because they're in the backcourt, but they're already in the bonus, and they've been in the bonus Seward has for a while. Thomas back in the game for Seward.
There's been a correlation, right? So Garden City has not played well defensively these last few minutes, which is why the lead has grown. They also really haven't gotten any quality shots.
Free throw good by Perez.
Making shots is fuel for your defense, right? Playing defense is hard. It doesn't matter what your system is. Playing defense is hard work, and the fuel by which you can get players to to be excited and play defense with energy is to score. And when you can't score, it's twice as hard to get them to play defense with any form of energy at all.
Perez, one of the best free throw shooters in the country at 85%, knocks down 2, 51-33, Seward leads. Hall spins in the lane for Garden from the right block to the restricted arc, and then she's fouled. So right now it's a 15-3 Saint run. They were up by 2 to begin the quarter, and they've scored 31 second quarter points. They are 12 of 18 shooting. 12 of 20 shooting here in the second quarter is Seward. And Hall knocks down the first of 2 free throws for Garden City.
And they've all been really good quality shots, right? Everything has been at the rim or a 3. There's been very little in between. So they're playing the percentages well.
Hall misses the second free throw, but grabs her own miss, kicks it out for Ross. 3-pointer straight on, rattles in. That's a new season high for Deja Ross on 3-pointers, and it's 51-37. Garden City with 40 seconds to go, down by 14. Seward has the ball, and Perez travels in the left wing, and that's the 11th Saint turnover. So for all the good Seward has done, they've still given it away 11 times.
They have, and that's one of those things that I mentioned earlier has got to be disconcerting. Obviously, they're a team trying to make a national run, make a run through the region, and there's nothing worse for your offense than turning the ball over.
Garden ball, 4-second differential, shot clock to game clock. Ross speeds down the left side of the lane, but blows the layup. Christina Thomas, the Seward rebound, and the shot clock off now. Saints have it. 51-37, Brockbusters trail it. And a defensive stop to close the half. Ballesteros now straight away. This is Sitzlowska, 11 points, 6 rebounds. Crossing over Ross into traffic and is fouled. Foul line extended right, and that's more free throws, and that's the third on Ross. She has 3. Pajau's on the bench with 3. And without Deb Ford, you're already thin up front. And now 2 more free throws for Sitzlowska, shoots it at 61%.
I sure like Ariana Hall's ability to make a play in that situation. We'd have liked to have seen them do something to try and get her the ball in order to, again, break the momentum, make a shot, get Garden feeling good about themselves for one last defensive stand here.
Sitzlowska misses a free throw. Seward is 8 of 12 in the first half. The second one is good. Seward 52, Garden City 37 with 3 seconds to go in the first half. And Garden City has it from left to right. So Deja Ross has 12 points on 4 of 7. Garden is 8 of 14 on 3s and 4 of 20 on 2s. Inbounds to Hall with 2 seconds at half court. To the quarter 3. Counts if it goes, and it's off the backboard and front rim. And that's the end of the first half. Garden City down 52-37.
Again, a much better effort than what they saw the last time they had the ball. Really feels like just immaturity and some depth is the reason why they're behind. But for the most part, I think you've got to be really proud of the effort they've given. Hasn't been perfect, but at the same time, they are playing very, very hard. And they are in the ball game, and they'll have a chance to close the gap here.
They were down by 2 at the end of 1, and Seward outscored them in the second quarter 32-19. Take a break. When we come back, your Morton's halftime report on 99.9 The Rock. Back on the Morton's halftime report. Courtside here at Conestoga Arena. Mike Kulisov, the Blockbusters down 52-37 at the intermission. Let's get to your first half game recap. It's brought to you by Garden City Community College. The future starts now. And your first half highlights presented by American Implements. Seward came out pretty much the same way they did in the first meeting between these two teams. Johnson hit a jumper, and then Sitzlowska nails a three off an assist from Augman. That made it 5-0, but the Blockbusters came back and tied the game. Garden City stayed right with Seward County in that opening quarter. 7-point deficit for Garden. Ross a straight-on three. Hits another. That's her second from downtown. Seward 17, Garden City 15 with 3:10 left in the first. By the way, Ross wasn't done. She hit that. That was her second. How about one more? Thomas on the other end after a missed Bellany jumper. Lays it in for Seward County, and it's 17-10 Saints, their largest lead of this first quarter. 7-point deficit for Garden. Ross a straight-on three. Hits another. That's her second from downtown. Seward 17, Garden City 15 with 3:10 left in the first. All right, so Ross actually hits another three. It made it 18. Blockbusters within two at the end of one, but then Seward came back and hit him with a run to begin the second quarter. The Saints score the first 8 points, and their lead swells to 8. From Paja, who rolls to the rim. Errant pass, and it's knocked away and intercepted by Muku Bakure for Seward. What's a left-handed, beautiful pass for Tiana Johnson. 50 feet in the air, and Johnson lays it in. So Johnson, the layup, makes it 26-18. Blockbusters down by 8. They needed something to weather the storm. They finally got an answer. And it was Jalea Bellany hitting a three from the left wing. Garden City was down 28-21 at that point, so they fell down by as many as 10 to that point. And that, after a Kawamba layup, made it 28-18. So we're shooting 45% here in the first half. Kawamba low right, spinning on Paja, redirects left wing Johnson, dumps it back for Kawamba. Splits a double, left block to the right and lays it in. She's got 8 points on 3 for 3 from the field. 28-18 Seward. They've scored 8 in a row. Blockbusters down by 10. And Ariana Hall, the two players keeping the Blockbusters in it in that first half was Deja Ross and Ariana Hall. 5:50 remaining first half. Garden City down 36-25. Garden ball left to right. Boyce, Flores, Trudella, Ross, Ariana Hall, and Paja. Hall tees it up on the right wing and knocks down a three, and then stares at the Seward County bench. That three cut it to 8, 36-28. But Seward really had the last laugh in that second quarter, using a 15-3 run to blow this one open. Blockbusters have never led in this game. In fact, they fell down early 5-0, came back to tie it. Here's Sitzlowska, straight on three with McKee right in her face, and drills it from the top of the key. That made it 49-33. Saints eventually build their lead to as many as 18, 51-33. Garden City then scores the next 4, including Ross's 4th three-point hit of the half. But the Blockbusters still down 15 at the break, 52-37. Take a timeout, come back with your first half numbers after this on 99.9 The Rock. the Morton's halftime report, courtside here at Conestoga Arena, alongside Nick Salazar and Mike Philosoph. 52-37 Seward. Look at your first half numbers presented by Burtis Motors. Garden City shot 34%, 12 of 35 from the field, 8 of 15 on threes, but they were only 4 of 20 on twos, 5 of 8 from the line, out-rebounded 28-10, 2 offensive rebounds, 10 turnovers. Rockbusters had 10 assists on their 12 made baskets. Deja Ross, 12 points, 4 of 7 from the field for Ross, had 1 assist. Ariana Hall had 6 points, 3 rebounds, a couple of steals. Boyce, 5 points, and 1 rebound for Alyssa Boyce. Also had 3 assists. She was 2 of 6. Dejanay Pajo had 3 fouls but scored 5 points. 4 for McGee, 3 for Bellany, and 2 for Suarez Tudela. Seward shot 51%, 19 of 37, 5 of 12 on threes, 9 of 13 at the line, plus 18 on the glass, 7 offensive rebounds, 11 turnovers, and they had 9 assists on their 19 made baskets. They averaged only 15 per game. Kuwamba led the way, 15 points, 2 rebounds. She was 6 of 7. Sitzlowski had 3 threes in that first half. She had 12. Her season high for threes was 5. Did that twice against Frank Phillips in Coffeyville. Leilani Ogman, 9 points, 3 boards, 6 for Tiana Johnson. Camry Perez with 5, and then 2 apiece for Muku Bakure. Thomas Ballesteros had 1. 52-37 Seward at the break. Take a timeout. The second half is next on 99.9 The Rock. Alongside Nick Salazar, Mike Philosoph, that courtside here at Conestoga Arena. Rockbusters down by 15. They trail by as many as 18 of the first half, and it's Garden City ball to begin quarter number 3 with Ross, Boyce, Suarez, Tudela, Hall, and Pajo. As Seward opens up in a man-to-man, Garden City now moving right to left. Saints start Christina Thomas here in the third quarter. Boyce, a deep 2 from the right wing, spins in and out. And the rebound off to Ogman, her 4th. Here comes Seward left to right. Johnson had her shot blocked, low right, grabs her own miss and puts it back up and in. And Nick, that's now 8 offensive rebounds for Seward. Their lead is 17.
Again, that's a big concern. Obviously, we said it from the beginning. You have to have somebody in there to clean up the glass. Garden City hasn't really had that presence in there.
Pajo answers for Garden City on the other end with a little turnaround from 10 feet. 9:15 left here in the third quarter. Garden City down 54-39. Seward ball left to right. Sitzlowska off the mark on an angle right 3. Goes wide left. Deja Ross gobbles it up for Garden. And the Brockbusters in possession, trailing 54-39. They've never led in this game. We've been tied once. Ross dumps it. High post right side. Pajo sealed off end line right by Thomas. Swings it up top for Suarez Tudela. 10 to shoot. Going against Sitzlowska. Off balance. Fall away. And it hits the heel of the rim, and Christina Thomas rips down the loose ball for Seward. Again, Brockbusters just 2 offensive rebounds in this game. Beautiful wraparound pass by Sitzlowska to Johnson, who finishes low right for Seward. She's got 10, the 3rd Saint in double figures.
There's no jump to the ball on that, and you know that's the first thing you've got to do when you're guarding the ball and the ball is passed. You've got to jump in the direction at which you passed it so that when she tries to cut, you can force her to cut behind your face. In that case, that did not happen. And so we got somebody going right down the middle. Got an easy layup.
56-39, Seward by 17. Meantime, on the other end, Seward County's Christina Thomas picks up her second foul, Seward County's first team foul. So nearly 2 minutes gone here in the third, and Bronxbusters down by 17. They were down only 2 at the end of one, but got manhandled in that second quarter, gave up 32 points. Hall has it, now for Ross, check that sideline right, comes back towards the middle near the Bronxbuster logo against Johnson. Her pass to the near side left is deflected out by Augman and stays with Garden City. Augman's a freshman from San Jose, originally committed to Cal State Bakersfield out of high school, played at Silver Creek. Left wing Pajau with 6 to shoot for Garden. Fakes a pass, backdoor rainbow for Hall, head fake underneath, layup is short. And a foul with 2 seconds on the timer, working on Muku Bakure.
Good patient offense there. It leads to a layup, or at least an attempt at a layup. Missed the layup.
You're down by 17 now as Hall goes to the line, 7:57 to go in the third. What do you, if you're Scoop Harding, what are you telling him, knowing what happened the first time you played this team?
Well, I think that, again, I don't know that there's a danger of it turning into that, because I think that really had to do with effort and lack thereof, which I don't necessarily see here this time around. I think Garden's played well. You have to sell them on the fact, just possession by possession. Do what you've been taught to do. Don't scoreboard watch.
Hall 1 of 2 on the other end. Missed 3 by Augman for Seward as the Saints up 16, and another offensive rebound. That's number 9. And a loose ball foul against Garden City. Actually, check that. It's a shooting foul. Christina Thomas heads to the line. Oh, you look at the rebounding disparity. It's unbelievable. 32-11. And Thomas, that slingshot release, the lefty, hits the first of 2 for Seward. 57-40 Saints.
Rebound disparity, I think you can take with a grain of salt, though. I mean, because Garden City has played well and been in games and won games. They haven't rebounded well all year.
They got out rebounded by 30 and beat Butler.
Exactly. And a lot of that just has to do with who you have under there.
Thomas misses the second after making the first, and then Garden City tips it out. Ball stays with Seward. 57-40 Saints by 17. They've been up by as many as 18. Coming off their first conference loss in 33 games on Saturday against Hutch at home. Sitzlowska, elbow right, gets Boyce in the air. Double clutch leaner short, but a foul. Patrick Chess says, my bad, but earns a trip to the line regardless. And that's on Alyssa Boyce. Second on Boyce, Garden City's second team foul.
I don't want to suggest that rebounding isn't important. Obviously that it is.
Well, you're a coach. You can't say that.
But I would say that, you know, as I've mentioned here in the broadcast tonight, turnovers are the absolute worst thing that can, you know, just destroy your offense, right? Is turning the ball over. The counter of that is defensively, what can kill your defense is allowing offensive rebounds. So I don't know that being out-rebounded by 17 or 19 is really the problem. The amount of offensive rebounds they've surrendered to Seward certainly is.
Sitzlowska grabs the rebound. Both free throws made on the other end for Seward, and McGee misses a layup attempt. Seward has it back left right up by 19, their largest lead of the game. Muku Bakure for the Saints, misfiring an angle right 3. And then a loose ball foul on Thomas for Seward. That's her third. And the Bronxbusters have it back right to left, down 59-40. Nearly 3 minutes elapsed here in this third quarter. So Ross across the 10-second line. Seward sets up the man-to-man. They're allowing only 60 points per game. High on the right, it's Boyce. Comes back left. Sitzlowska picks her up, takes her off the dribble drive. Sitzlowska recovers, blocks the shot. Right to Augman, and here comes Seward left to right. Wing right Johnson, head fake around McGee, to the cup and lays it in. Johnson's got 12, one of 3 Saints in double figures. It's a 61-40 Seward lead.
And the way that she swept to the basket, beat her man, got to the rim, you know, but you saw how she power stopped. She got to the rim, she power stopped, gathered herself and finished. I was just thinking before she did that, you'd like to see Boyce do that. Boyce is undersized, quick as any player on the floor. But we've seen her get a couple of shots blocked tonight, and if she could just land on 2 feet and explode up to the rim, she might be able to draw fouls and finish those layups.
Tiana Johnson picks up the foul for Seward. Suarez Trudella airballs a 3 right wing for Garden City. Sitzlowska the rebound. That's her 8th. And then Boyce went for the steal and ran in to the scorer's table as Seward comes back left right. When you said quick, I thought you were going to keep the cliche rolling and say quick as a hiccup. but you stopped.
That must be an Oklahoma thing and not a New Mexico thing.
No, I was watching you ever seen the movie The Express?
You were in Oklahoma too long if you say quick as a hiccup, I think.
I've heard it more times than you know. You ever seen the movie The Express, the Ernie Davis story? As Ogman shovels for Christina Thomas for Seward. Easy layup on the right block, and Thomas has 5. 63-40, 7-0 run for Seward. They're up by 23. I'll get to my point here in a second. I promise I will. Missed jumper by Boyce, left end line for Garden City. She is 2 of 9.
Yeah.
Rebound off to Ballesteros for Seward, and then the Saints turning over their 12th giveaway. Blockbusters in transition. Boyce got away with an extra step and lays it in low left, and Mike Scoop Harding calls it timeout. By the way, my point on that was, in that movie, and the head coach who's coaching Ernie Davis says, I'll get rid of you as quick as a hiccup. That's the only reason I thought of that. But
I think in 19 years of coaching, I don't know that I ever used the term quick as a hiccup.
It's always a first for everything. 6:01 to go.
That being said, I think I was known for some colorful things that I said over the years.
We should have mic'd you up.
That may have not been one of them.
6:01 to go, third quarter. Timeout on the floor. Garden down 21, 63-42 on 99.9 The Rock. Alongside the guy that never uses cliches, Nick Salazar, Mike Pilosoff, 63-42. Bronkbusters down by 21. It's Seward ball left to right, and Sitzlowska charging down the lane into the chest of Pajau and floats it in.
I don't know that I'd say I never use cliches. I think I actually try and use cliches when I'm around you.
Just to make it seem more colorful, as McGee answers on the other end with a right-handed layup from the right block. So that was the largest lead of the game for Seward. McGee's first field goal for Garden, 65-44 Seward. 5:23 to go in the third quarter. Seward ball left to right. Johnson, nifty ball handling in from the right wing. Kind of a scissors move to the basket. Lays it in and the foul.
I'd like to see the official let that one go.
Especially when it's
fourth foul on a kid. It's a touch foul. It didn't alter the shot, and she scored.
That's the hometown coach in you, right?
Well, you know, and I know that she would say, oh, we're taught not to do that, but I mean, there's a little pragmatism. Such a bad thing when you're officiating a basketball game. I mean,
it's dead in this country, apparently. Johnson misses the free throw, and Garden City grabs the rebound with Deja Ross. 67-44 Seward by 23. Boyce down the middle of the lane, blows the layup for Garden City. And another rebound for Sitzlowska. She has 9. Coming into tonight, she has 6 double-doubles. And there is Thomas. Feed the big man. Feed the post. And Thomas is there, and she lays it in.
Another example of where I think if she had gone off of 2 feet, she probably could have finished and maybe gotten a foul.
Missed 3 by Suarez Tudela for Garden City, and then a loose ball foul called against Tyrell Watkins of the Blockbusters, who just checked in.
So I haven't seen them as much as you have, but this would probably qualify as kind of a funky lineup for the Busters.
Yes, you don't see a lot of McGee, Suarez, Tudela.
So to where now you're a little concerned now because you've got a lot of people playing, you've got people guarding people they're not used to guarding, and so you've got to be really intentional.
You've got 5
so
guards.
That should have been an offensive foul. That's ridiculous.
Sitzlowska draws a foul near half court. That's on Denitra McGee. So, in essence, Nick, you're playing with 5 guards or 5 wing players.
And they're all little guards.
Yeah,
they're
not 6'2" guards, 6'1", which at this particular level, 6'2" would probably put you in the post. But
yeah,
I mean, you're down by 25, and you just lost your best post player, who's available because Deb Ford is out, suspended indefinitely, and now you're down by 25. So now Sitzlowska goes to the line for Seward. With 4:26 to go in the third, and the free throw is good.
And this is where you really have to try and coach up these players, right? Because, the natural instinct from everybody from the bench to the kids on the floor is to just sort of pack it in and, well, here we go again. And so this is where, again, you've got to And it's the hardest thing in the world to do. And you've got to bring energy, you've got to bring intensity, and you've got to just focus, again, not on the scoreboard. You just got to focus on development and taking it a possession at a time.
Garden City outscored 32-19 in the second. They've been outscored 19-7 here in the third. Both free throws good on the other end by Sitzlowska, so it's Garden City ball down by 27, largest deficit of the night. Boyce drives in from the right wing to the left block and draws the foul. That puts Seward over the limit. That's on Destiny Alston. You know, if you missed the first broadcast between these two teams, and I didn't blame you when they were down by 60 in the third quarter, but Destiny Alston came out of the Oklahoma Panhandle. Nick, she had 4 different ACL surgeries when she was in high school. She was a one of the top 5 recruits in the state. Had teams like Notre Dame that were offering her as Boyce knocks down a couple of free throws for Garden City. And you think about that, Forgan, Oklahoma, if you've never been to the Oklahoma Panhandle, is as small, you blink, and you're right through the town.
I have not had the pleasure of visiting there.
You've never been to Guyman?
Maybe I have. I'm sure I've driven through.
Well, you go to New Mexico. I mean, you're moving back to your home state.
Boise City is about the only Oklahoma town you really go through on that drive.
See, you're the non-Oklahoman because it's actually Boise City. But most people that aren't, and I'm not from Oklahoma, like I act like I'm some, big timer, but that's the first mistake I ever made in radio is when I said Boise City. I almost got fired.
It's the same here in Kansas, right? Because we think instead of saying Arkansas, we say Arkansas.
I got in an argument with somebody about that. And it's El Dorado. I call it's El Dorado, but they say El Dorado.
I knew they say El Dorado. In New Mexico, they would say El Dorado.
And there's so many El Dorados and El Dorados around the entire country. As Alston knocks down 2. Even heard Kirk Herbstreit on a broadcast call Arkansas, which I've never heard that. Rockbusters down 27. Here's McGee, low right, lays it in for Garden City and the foul.
Very good move for that.
Potato. What kind of day and age are we in when we're arguing about how to pronounce a town name?
Well, especially if you've ever been to Boise City.
There's really no arguments.
I mean, fine people there. They've got a beautiful Love's gas station that we stop at pretty regularly.
I've got a Love's in every small town in America.
Got a Subway in there that my son certainly enjoys.
Those bathrooms have been serviced many times.
Exactly.
3:40 to go in the third. McGee completes the three-point play for Garden City. Seward ball from left to right.
What a well-executed double team down in the post on Garden City. They're doing so many positive things, but just putting together, it just talks about or speaks to how many phases there are that go into a basketball game.
Ariana Hall missed the 3 and then grabbed her own miss. And Suarez Tudela misses a layup. Loose ball to Seward. Down the left side of the lane is Ayanna Smith. And Smith misses the layup with the left hand. And Tariel Watkins the rebound for Garden City and a Seward foul. 73-49 Seward. Just over 3 to go here in the third. And the Saints are over the limit.
This is a good way for Garden City to put some points on the board, get to the free throw line, make their free throws. Again, Ty Watkins doesn't play a whole lot. He has an opportunity now to score some points.
Ayanna Smith, who grew up in Hobbs, New Mexico. They got good basketball over there.
They sure do.
Ariel Watkins hits the first of 2 free throws. She just checked out of the game for Seward.
One of the winningest coaches of all time in high school was Ralph Tasker. And Ralph Tasker, of course, legend at Hobbs High School.
Hobbs played in the state championship game last year and lost. 1 of 2 for Watkins at the free throw line for Garden City. Seward comes back left to right, ball deflected out. 73-50. Garden City down by 23 with 2:59 to go in the third.
My third year at Highland High School out of Albuquerque, our first round opponent in state was Hobbs, and it was just a phenomenal experience because that's a small town that cares about high school basketball.
Yeah, it's amazing when you go to small towns, right?
Well, we didn't compete that night very well against Hobbs, but it was an amazing experience. They ended up playing for the state championship that year as well, and but yes, you're exactly right. There's a small town feel sometimes with athletics, basketball and Hobbs. I was just talking to one of my students today, Clovis in football, Clovis, New Mexico. And football is that way. Tons of towns in Oklahoma and Texas, I'm sure.
Now that you're moving back, as just to recap what's happened here, Alston missed a 3 for Seward. They grabbed the offensive rebound, and Tyara Kensmill was fouled. She missed the first of 2 free throws. The second one is also off the mark, off the heel, and Denitria McGee, the guard and rebound. You going to go back, coach a little basketball over there? Or?
I don't know. A lot of people have asked me what my plan is. Right now, I don't have a plan.
Just your wife is now working at the School of Medicine at the University of New Mexico.
Yeah, I certainly married up.
We all do.
And, you know, there's part of me that feels like maybe I should just go back and be a made man, a kept man over there.
You could be a barnstorming color guy, as Alyssa Boyce was fouled for guard and misses the first of 2 free throws. You could do that. I mean, you have a very a keen understanding of the English language, which that's great for American radio, right?
I suppose.
I mean, it doesn't hurt. Boyce hits 1 of 2, 73-51. Garden City is down by 22. They've trailed by as many as 27. Seward, meantime, turns it over, coming back left to right. That's their 14th turnover. With 2.5 to go in the third quarter. And the Blockbusters have it back from right to left. So Garden City in this game was down by 2 after 1, and then Seward outscored them 32-19 in the second quarter and 21-14 here in the third. Blockbusters have been plagued by foul trouble. Hall straight on deep 2 is wide to the left. Rebound on the deck taken by Alston, the Forgan, Oklahoma native, and then she turns it over. McGee the steal ahead for Watkins for Garden City and lays it in low right.
The game really turned in the second quarter, Mike, when Pajau went out with that foul trouble because, again, you knew Garden City had to have some sort of inside presence in order to protect the rim and clog things up and just go toe-to-toe with the big kids for Seward. And after they didn't have that, they really struggled to guard, which led to bad shots and turnovers, and then it kind of snowballed on them. But again, for the most part, they've played really hard tonight. They've been competitive.
And Seward shot the ball well, despite, everything, or in spite,
I think the first thing I said, which was completely ludicrous, was that Seward doesn't shoot the 3 well, because they absolutely have shot the 3 well tonight.
Alston hits both free throws. 75-53, Seward County by 22. I was talking about Alston and those 4 ACL surgeries. She has the heaviest knee brace I think I've ever seen a basketball player wear, and I can understand why. But just how in the world do you even move with that kind of restriction on your leg? And I'm talking to the athlete right here, Nick Salazar.
Well, you were talking to an athlete who certainly knows a lot about not being able to move.
You and I both.
That's for sure.
Timeout on the floor, 2:08 to go third quarter. We step aside as well. 75-53 Seward County on 99.9 The Rock. Alongside Nick Salazar, Mike Pilosoff courtside at Conestoga Arena. Blockbusters down by 22, 75-53 with 2 to go in the third. McGee circles for Garden. Right lane line throws it up off the glass. Too strong. She's 2 for 5. Alston another rebound for Seward. Then the Saints nearly turn it over. Alston then falls down and does. So Garden City with the steal, and it's Alyssa Boyce with a two-handed layup for Garden City.
Again, proud of Garden City for continuing to do what they do. They're in the three-quarter court trap. They've caused 2 turnovers in a row. See if we can get a finish on another finish in a row. Force Seward to take a timeout. Again, really proud of them continuing to fight.
They have not put their heads down, so a couple of turnovers by Seward. Boyce hits back-to-back layups, and Seward County calls a timeout. 1:32 to go third quarter. That 27-point lead is down to 18. 75-57 Seward on 99.9 The Rock. .90 to go here in the third. Alongside Nick Salazar, Mike Pilosoff, Garden City has crawled back from 27 down. They're down 18 with 1:24 now on the clock. Seward ball from left to right. Johnson floats it for Kuwamba, high on the left side, and she's fouled. Each team has 5 fouls, so free throws the rest of the way. Kuwamba was a blockbuster killer in that first half. She had 15 points on 6 of 7 shooting. Incredibly, she hasn't played much here in the second half, which defies all logic, but why I sit over here.
Well, they haven't really needed her.
Wamba to the line, left the first one short, 69%. Sophomore from Mozambique. Was a 4-year letterman in high school, played small and power forward, which she's basically played tonight. Wamba 1 of 2. 76-57 Seward, 1:17 to go here in the third. Blockbuster ball right to left. Boyce, Watkins, McGee, Hall, and Suarez Tudela. Pajau on the bench with 4 fouls. Seward in a man-to-man. As Amirowitz guards Hall at the top of the key. Goes right to the elbow, pull up 15-footers, an air ball, and Sitzlowska has her 10th rebound and her 7th double-double of the season for Seward. Saints have it left to right. Some airmail from Kazimirowicz from the right wing. Throws it away left corner. Hall intercepts for Garden. Finds Boyce, a right corner 3. Ticks off the front iron. Denitria McGee, the offensive rebound, lays it in, plus the foul on the right block. She's got 11, and a chance for a 3-point play. And McGee, with her just her 3rd double-figure scoring game this year, and the Seward County lead is 17.
Great offensive rebound there. Sky got really high, just working, and you got to appreciate that under the circumstances. And you got to be really proud of Garden City, because they here. Seward appears to have shut it down a little bit, and Garden City has not.
And there's a steal by Watkins for Garden City. They're down 16 after the free throw is made. Hall's layup is blocked from behind by Sitzlowska out of bounds, and the Blockbusters keep the ball, but this was a 27-point Seward lead at one point. It's down to 16, and there's still another quarter to play with 31 seconds left in the third, and it's Garden ball.
Well, and you ask the question, what do you do when you find yourself in these situations, and that is just continue to play your game. Take it possession by possession.
Seward County, meantime, just 3 points over the last 3 minutes.
We scored 3 points in 3 minutes.
So the Blockbusters inbounding now end line left. Hall, Suarez, Tudela, McGee, Watkins, and Boyce. 16-point Saint advantage. Boyce to throw it in. These two teams met a few weeks back, and Seward won by 60. Boyce fires Suarez Tudela. Right wing 3, too strong, and a one-handed rebound by Muku Baikure on the left end line for Seward. Saints come back from left to right. 3-pointer missed from the left wing by Alston. Kuwamba the offensive rebound. No. Third chance. Ogben puts it back up and in from the right block. The offensive rebounds have absolutely killed Garden City in this game. 78-63. Blockbusters down by 78-60, I should say. Missed shot by Ariana Hall in the final seconds of this third quarter. And the quarter comes to an end. So the Blockbusters got back to within 16. And in that bucket on a third chance opportunity. Seward now with 13 offensive rebounds. We've played 3 quarters. It's Seward 78, Garden City 60 on 99.9 The Rock. Alongside Nick Salazar, Mike Kulisov, courtside here at Conestoga. Right now, all Seward up 78-60. Rockbusters got a 27-point deficit down to 16 in that third quarter. But more offensive rebounds. The Saints average 16 a game. They have 13 on the night. Saints ball left to right. Muku Bakure, right hash mark, goes left all the way to the rim and circled around the other side of the floor and lays it in off the window with the left hand.
Little ball screen action there on the wing, and Garden City looked very confused as to how they were supposed to be handling that.
Lead swells back to 20 now for Seward, 80-60. 30 seconds gone by fourth quarter. Blockbuster ball right to left. Ross at the top, goes left to the elbow. Skips it across the lane, right block, and a missed layup attempt that time by Denitria McGee, but she's fouled. What a pass through traffic. I think went by somebody's ear hole. And the foul on Muku Bakure, that's her third, and the first team foul.
Alyssa Boyce is a really good playmaker, and she's really, really good off of pick and roll.
That's the third foul I mentioned on Muku Bakure, first team foul. And Denitria McGee misses the first of 2 free throws. She shoots 60% at the line. Team MVP at Everman High School in Shreveport, Louisiana. Where's the white headband? Second free throw. Never hit the rim. Wide to the right. Kuwamba, her 5th rebound for Seward. Garden City is 12 of 20 at the line. Saints ball left to right. Muku Bakure, Alston, Johnson. Kuwamba sets the ball screen, and Augman. Foul line jumper, Muku Bakure. That's off the back iron. Alyssa Boyce lassos the loose ball for the Blockbusters.
Garden City made the same defensive mistake, just not clear on how they're playing ball screens. Luckily, she pulled up.
Boyce misses an out-of-control layup. Kuwamba the rebound for Seward. Back they come in transition, and one. Taking a huge hit low right was Muku Bakure. Took it right underneath the chin on a blow from Tyriel Watkins, and a chance for a three-point play. Did they call that on Suarez Sudella? No, they called that on Watkins for third, and the lead back up to 22 now for Seward. 82-60. You know, Seward had that stretch late in the third where the Blockbusters got back. I wouldn't say back in it. They were down by 16.
Closed the gap some.
Yeah, they did. They were down by 27. Missed free throw by Muku Bakure, and Hall tracks down the loose ball for Garden City, and Blockbusters nearly turn it over in the backcourt. My point on that was Seward had a stretch during that time where they had only 3 points over a 3-minute stretch as Ross hits a step-back elbow left jumper for Garden City.
That was one of those when she let it go. I was going to make a comment about how that was not a good shot, and then she makes it, which typically is how those kinds of shots go.
All the time, right? Meantime, Ross has 14 points. Muku Bakure answers on the other end for Seward.
Late rotation on Garden City. We got to get over.
Haja then airballs an inline right jumper for the Blockbusters, and Augman the rebound for Seward. 84-62 Saints. They've got it from left to right. Augman with an inside-out dribble, and a step-back jumper is pure from the left baseline. She's got 13, and it's 86-62 Seward.
Big possession here for Garden City if they're going to try and, again, make another run here at the fourth quarter to close the gap.
It's been that kind of night for Garden City. Down by 24. They trail by as many as 27. Shot clock at 6. Ross is fouled, left lane line. 5 on the shot clock.
Seward continues to switch pick and rolls, and I would think that at some point you want to try and get Alyssa Boyce with the ball in her hand, who is really good in pick and roll to begin with. Try and get her to get on a post player and then attack the rim with reckless abandon and try and get to the foul line.
Second foul on Destiny Alston. That's her second. Garden City inbounding off the second team foul. Another foul against Seward. That's back-to-back fouls on Alston. So look at Seward coming up. They just finished off that game with Hutch. They've got Pratt, Dodge, Colby, Barton, Tech, and then close with Hutch. It's not crazy to think Seward could win out going into that showdown at the Sports Arena on February 22nd. Then a moving screen on Garden City called here. That's on Taryn Tabor. First on Tabor. Garden City's 11th turnover and their second team foul. Blockbusters Right now, they are sitting in last place in the Jayhawk West.
Which is a real shame because anyone who's seen this team knows they are not the worst team in the West. I know that we live in a very, I am a realist. They are in last place, but I've spoken to many coaches in the league who have all said the same thing, and that is they're actually a pretty talented team. Obviously, circumstances over the course of the year have taken their toll, but this Garden City team is not a bad basketball team. They have really bad stretches. They've had a couple of really very, very bad performances, as we've referenced, but they're not the worst team. They could beat anybody. They beat Butler, and Butler's one of the better teams on the east side. They played with Hutch for 3 quarters. They played with Seward for 2 quarters.
And the Hutch game, which you mentioned, they played with him, and they had a chance. I mean, going to the 4th quarter, missed shot by Alyssa Boyce for Garden City. Free throws on the other end by Seward, and they're up 87-62.
The real culprit behind Garden City's struggles this year has been, again, I think immaturity. They've had leads and haven't been able to hold them, but then also just depth. They're undersized and have been undersized all year, which means they haven't rebounded well, and they really struggle to guard. And you get a team like Seward in here tonight where they're enormous, athletic, long, and they really, at least tonight, only have one person that could match up at all inside. And she's had 4 fouls for most of the game.
Dejane Pasha has unfortunately been in foul trouble, it seems like the entire night. 87-62. Garden City is down by 25. Lost. Nice move around Johnson, left lane line for Garden City. She's got 16 points, 87-64. Garden City down 13. Johnson missing a running layup low right. Offensive rebound. Now check that Taryn Tabor comes out with the defensive rebound for Garden City. Ahead for McGee, missing a driving layup for the Brockbusters, and Ballesteros has the Seward County rebound. 87-64. And underneath is Ayanna Smith for Seward, and she lays it in for a 25-point Seward lead. 6 minutes to go. Brockbusters in possession, right to left. Hall, left wing triple, ticks off the right iron, and Smith corrals the loose ball for Seward. Garden City is 8 of 20 from downtown. Ballesteros all alone, right block, and that soft touch off the glass is good. 91-64. Garden City down 27. But on the other end, it's Ariana Hall in transition. Garden City not waiting around, and it's 93-64 on the Hall layup.
Ariana Hall sort of makes up. She had back-to-back mistakes prior to that. She obviously took a bad shot. Then she was the furthest person back, sort of attacked the dribbler on the defensive end, leaving the basket wide open. But then makes up for it by making a layup in transition, running past everybody.
Another Seward turnover. Are you surprised Seward's running tempo and you're up by 25 points?
I don't think so. I think that's just who they are. As I said, I think Garden City's defense, transition defense, is a concern, and so I think you encourage your team to just continue to push. And
Paja missing a straight-on 3 for Garden City. Ballesteros misfires right wing triple for Seward. And then bodies fall to the floor. It's McGee and Alston, and the alternating arrow goes back over to Garden City. .505 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Alongside Nick Salazar, Mike Pilosoff, Brockbusters have trailed by 27. They also got that 27-point deficit down to 16 late in the 3rd quarter, but Seward responded with a 6-0 run to begin the 4th. Haven't looked back. McGee rejected inside by Alston. Offensive rebound skips back outside to Hall. Gets inside the paint and lays it in from the left block, and Hall is one of 4. Brockbusters in double figures with 11.
She had a really nice game. Again, she's made some mistakes, but for the most part, she's scored. She's guarded well.
Hall scored the last 4 for Garden. Ballesteros an air ball in the right corner 3. Paja the rebound for Garden. Ahead for Hall. Right-hand layup is good. She's got 13. And it's 91-70 now. Garden City back to within 21 with 4:18 to go. And a little 6-0 run by Ariana Hall.
I was going to say, Seward's transition defense has gotten a little bit sketchy at this point.
Perez finds Alston on the left block for a layup. 93-70 Seward County. 4:05 remaining in the fourth quarter. Hall off the mark on a left wing three for Garden City. She is 5 of 15. Ballesteros collects her fourth rebound for Seward, and a blockbuster foul in the backcourt on Ariana Hall. That's her third. And check that fourth foul.
I think she's tired. I was going to say, I thought some of the mistakes that she made were more a result of fatigue than anything else.
Hall's played like 16, 17 minutes off the bench. Not shot the ball great, but her defense has been pretty good. And she has 3 assists.
And she was a huge catalyst for the team right off the go, right? Like, she came in and really did some things that kind of got Garden City rolling a little bit in the first quarter.
Seward, by the way, has won 89 straight games when they take a lead into the fourth quarter, which they're up big going into the fourth quarter tonight. Ayanna Smith, low right, banks it in. 95-70 Seward County. 25-point lead. Blockbusters back right to left. Ross misfiring from the foul line. Tariel Watkins, the offensive rebound. Another chance. Ross, who's hit a season-high 4 threes. Pajau angle right triple. Way off. Sails over the rim to the left and out of bounds. And she is 3 of 9 and hasn't played much because of the foul trouble. Has only played 7 minutes.
Shouldn't have her feet set there.
Back comes Seward from left to right. Perez across the 10-second line for the Saints. Match with Ross. Shovels for Alston. Spin move left and finishes off the window. Nicely done by Alston. 97-70. This equals the largest lead of the game for Seward with 3 minutes to go. You can see at one point why Alston was considered one of the best prospects coming out of the state of Oklahoma. Watkins at the top. Straight on 3. Hits the shot clock and drops in, but no basket. Back over to Seward. You know, when John Ford and I did the broadcast back in early January in Liberal, we talked about, you know, setting the recruiting foundation and what. Talked about it with John Onchus the last time I had you on, but even with Coach Medford, and Toby Wynn kind of set the precedent on this with Mozambique and landing.
I was going to say, I don't want to take anything away from what this staff has done. They've done a phenomenal job. But, you know, this morning when I'm looking at the roster for Seward, I'm like, so they have the Polish kids, they have the Mozambique kids, they got 1 or 2 players from the Texas Panhandle. Like that. Not a whole lot has changed. So either him and Coach Wynn's recruiting network is very, very similar, or, you know, Seward is just continuing to get the kind of players that they've always gotten. And that's so tough to establish, and it's something that isn't established overnight.
Seward just turned it over for the 22nd time. 99-70, Seward by 29. Ross on the take, misfires inside for Garden City, and Ayanna Smith off the bench has 4 rebounds. Go back to the days of Jim Littell, who the circumstances of him taking over at Oklahoma State because of the plane crash that killed Kurt Butke and Miranda Cerna. So he takes over as the head coach there, but he was, you know, he's a legendary coach at Seward County. That's a 4th foul, meantime, on Watkins for Garden City. And even during his day, I mean, you know, they won a national championship. And their recruiting ties then, you mentioned the Texas Panhandle. Molly Mouncey, who went to Colorado State, is arguably one of the best shooters I've seen on the women's side play in this conference. You saw her up close and personal.
I did, and I believe she's at Emporia now with Coach Wynn. But that, you know, and I think a lot of times people don't understand, you know, and that is Seward has been good, and their program is very much established, right? They're getting the same high-caliber talent from the same places. Hutch, you know, Hutch is Australian. They've had something going with Australia for a while now. They're continuing to get better and better players from there. They have something going in Minnesota, as right now their best players from there. When you're coaching Garden City, you know, when you don't have a history the way those programs do, Butler has an Oklahoma thing going on. When you're in Garden City, you know, you really are starting from scratch because you have to develop this sort of this identity of the kind of players you recruit, and that's one of the hardest things in the world to do, you know, and you know, we thought we had it going. We had some Canadian players from the Toronto area. You know, obviously when Coach Keisha Watson was here, we had some ties with Oklahoma City, and we had players like DeRay Lewis and Shayla Dobbins. But establishing what Seward and Hutch does takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of money.
and a lot of, time, money, dedication to the
exactly.
program.
And I'm not intentional. I'm not trying to take anything away from their staffs. They do a tremendous job recruiting. But there's a reason why those programs are consistently good.
But it's like if Nick Saban left Alabama, they'd be okay.
They'd be okay because it's Alabama. Exactly.
Garden, meantime, is now down 102-70 with 41 seconds to go in the fourth. Seward just turned it over. So the Saints about to go make it 90 consecutive wins when taking a lead into the fourth quarter, which is incredible. They've won 33 out of their last 34 conference games. Ross down the middle for Garden City. High off the glass, counted and one. She has 18 points. She's hit 4 threes. This game is entered garbage time with 30 seconds to go.
Well, fantastic performance. It has to a degree, but you also say these players are credit to the ones that are out there still playing really hard, still trying to make plays happen. She's had a phenomenally good game tonight.
Ross wide right on the free throw. That's pretty much the only thing she's done wrong. Rebound off to Alston. Check that to Kensmill. Seward can run it out. 30-point lead. They've been up by as many as 32. They used an 11-0 run to basically put this one on ice. And the Saints will make it 34 out of 35 conference games. They will also make it 11 straight wins over Garden City. Final score, Seward 102, Garden City 72. The Saints go to 12-1 now, Nick, in conference play. And they looked a lot better tonight than they did even in a 60-point blowout, which might be hard to believe the last time.
Well, you know, I think the last time, again, Garden City's effort was questionable. But to Seward's credit, they are a very good basketball team. They have all the pieces. You know, them and Hutch will chase down that championship once again.
Be interested to see who challenges them from the eastern side of the league. 102-72, Garden City loses by 30. Your post-game show fueled